Give out the questions. So you want to be my sister or no?
No, I don't.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Breaking Cycles. This episode is called First Place. Today we are here with Aishona Jackson, a childhood friend of mine. She is a graduate from Delaware State University with a degree in political science, and she is here today to just talk about some things. So, let's just start with, what is the first thing you think about when you wake up in the morning?
I try to think about positive things. That's what I want to think about anyway.
Okay.
Doesn't always happen that way, but when I get up, I normally pray.
Okay.
I'm not a loud prayer though, so I don't really speak. I pray in my head or inside, like in my spirit. I pray for a good day, and I just feel like you have to start the day off with some type of affirmation or, prayer to make sure, that you're level throughout the day. You can revert back to that prayer. You can continue on that prayer,
For sure.
But yeah, I just like to try to start a positive and, what's on my agenda for the day? What do I need to get done?
Okay.
What time do I have to get it done in? And what's on the top of that list? And just dive right into work.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. I noticed when I was waking up in the morning that I would instantly grab my phone and start scrolling through Instagram. I've caught myself this week. I did pretty good. I grab my phone, turn my alarm off. I might open my phone. It might be on Instagram. I look at it. I shut my phone. I'll turn my phone over and I just put it to the side and just then I remember then when I shut my phone off that I forgot to pray, because there are mornings that I would have forgotten to pray if I was just scrolling through Instagram when I turned my alarm off. So that has helped me be able to pray and remember to pray. And so that was just this week, though. I'm not saying that that's how I've been, but that's just something that I noticed.
That's interesting that you say that, though, because I actually started doing this again. As a kid, growing up, my mom, one day, I got in trouble for this. I woke up and got ready for school. When I was done getting ready, I had a little time to spare, so I sat down and I turned the TV on and I turned on cartoons. She snatched the remote control and turned the TV off. And she said, "You don't need to start your day like that. You want to do something, go read, go pray, go read your Bible." So
what?
Yeah, so I was.
Your mom is even doper than I thought.
So at a young age, I learned how the start of your day is important. I wasn't allowed to watch TV in the mornings or watch cartoons in the mornings. We were praying, getting ready for school and work, and we were on a time schedule most of the time since my mom worked early in the morning. So I need to be dressed, ready for school and everything by a certain time. And no TV.
That's pretty sick.
I stopped when I got to college and then fell off, and I was like, no, I need to get back to
starting your day right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For those who don't know, me and Aishona are from Chester, Pennsylvania, a small little city in Pennsylvania that is, full of so much potential, but lacks some very essential resources for progression, I would say. But it's still lit. If you ever need to come to the city, pull up. But what prompted you to, I guess, have the mentality to want to go to college? Because I know, we don't have a lot of examples of people who actually just, are interested in education and want to go to college and just have that natural desire to be in school. Because, it's once you graduate high school, it's I'm done. Whew, it's over.
I think for me, I was always interested in learning. And I knew I wanted to do that as much as I could, but it was actually PFL, Project for Relief, as a program we were in, that made me want to go to college. Going on those trips every summer to a different college and living in a dorm at the ages we were. That was young, but people weren't, doing that.
Very true.
Especially, like you said, not where we're from. So it's the fact that they offered Project for Relief and you got to go to, basically we were in college. We met kids from other schools. We
Absolutely.
were in the college classes,
Absolutely.
In the classrooms.
For 6 weeks.
That environment,
Yeah.
It was interesting to me. And I'm like, I can do this. This is okay, yeah, this is what I want to do then.
Nice. It was definitely a great experience, and it's how I got into Episcopal, as you know, and how everything just propelled to be different for me versus, many of the people in our community who have no desire to extend their education further. So shout out to PFL. Mm. So I know you say PFL like motivates you educationally, but like what motivates you in general? Like what keeps you going when things get hard or struggles hit you, or you have to face struggles, I guess.
So it's a mystery, it is, because I'm still figuring out what motivates me. When I was younger, what motivated me was the fact that my mom encouraged, me doing what I wanted to do, and what I wanted to do was take care of my family. So, and then I viewed myself as smart. So yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm smart, and I'm the only child, but I need to be able to take care of my mom and take care of my grandma. And I just always was a person that felt like I needed to give back because they worked so hard just for me, My family sacrificed a lot for me to be able to do a lot of things. Growing up, I was always involved in something. And my mom, she didn't necessarily say I had to go to college. College was my choice. So I guess my motivation would just be my family, and then like the instilled values in me as far as my religion and keeping faith. It's hard sometimes. That's why I said it's a mystery. It's ever changing, but it's something I'm learning to enjoy figuring out rather than push against it.
Yeah. Look at it as like a problem. Like everything is always changing, time is always passing. So you have to be able to say, in any situation, I can hold my own. I can stand up and think critical and problem solve and get to a solution. So when you say it's a mystery, it's really not a mystery. It's just the grace of God, like, keeping you and like putting the right people around, putting the right things around, opportunities, just blessing you in general to have the mindset. Because a lot of times when I'm praying, I always say, God, thank you for my mind, because it's a lot. It's so many ways that you could be thinking. It's so many things that can go through your head. You can think good thoughts, bad thoughts, evil thoughts, positive thoughts. It's so many ways, and it's like, thank God for like allowing me to be able to be interested in whatever I'm interested in, to want the things that I want, because there are people out here who want all types of stuff that are bad, that could kill them. So it's like, I want to be smart. I want to do this. Yes, guys. This was a question that, obviously, well, you don't know this, but you're going to know this. I'm low-key obsessed with, like, looking at people who pledge. Okay? I like watching, like, because I don't know nothing. Like, I don't know anything. I just see the finished product and, like, the little research that I did, like, just out of curiosity. But to like see friends grow up into it's a couple of y'all who have pledged different, sororities. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, different sororities. So why did you pledge? Like, why did you do it? And obviously you love it because it's like part of you now, and it's like, that's so decent.
Well, it's different for everyone, but for us, you didn't see it here, Can you remember, did you know about Greek life before college, or even before, seeing it at an older age? Yeah, so I think we are not exposed to a lot of stuff, or we were, and we didn't realize the importance or, the significance of it. So for me, though, you remember Bria Morgan?
Yes.
Yeah, so Bria used to say growing up all the time she wanted to be a part of a certain organization. And
never knew that?
Yeah, cool. So I didn't know at the time, though, that it was a Greek organization. But when we were like that young, she knew about it. So I was like curious, so I started looking it up online. And then I would look up from them. I would just look at all of the videos, like of even fraternities. I would love to watch the fraternities. So like, and that was probably about middle school that we had that one conversation. And then I became a cheerleader, and my coach is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha, and her name, Miss Karen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Miss Karen is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha, and she would tell us, all the time about her organization and I began to then learn about it in high school, and I just started to hear it more. And then with it being associated with college, I got to college myself and learned about Greek life. And in high school, I won the scholarship for Delta Sigma Theta, and I was first place winner from the Chester Alumni Chapter.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I vividly remember they were saying something about a student who had won all these awards and who was and when they said you, I lied to you now. Like, I was so elated.
Oh, thank you.
I was like, I'm getting emotional talking about it. I was so happy. I was like, yes, like, I don't know why. I was so happy for you.
Thank you so much.
I was so happy for you. And when I heard it, I was hyped. I was like, yes, so that's really lit. And so then that's when I started to virtually stalk you in positive ways, just to see stuff and go on your page and make sure you were good. Then I saw you had a brother, and it was like, But go ahead, please continue.
In high school, graduating, I won that scholarship, and I got to Del State, and I just, saw Greek life there, and it just encouraged my desire more. Like, being a Chester High cheerleader, our coach, she basically input a lot in us. She made us like sisters, We worked as a team, but, she instilled that type of stuff. Chester High School cheerleaders have an alumni chapter, so it has a lot of ties to the way our coach brought us up. As cheerleaders, we had to look a certain way. We were, we had to wear pearl earrings, nothing else but pearl earrings. We had to, sometimes our hair couldn't be a certain way. We weren't allowed to wear pins in our head, before the game. And she's a big influencer in my life, Miss Karen, but she's just kind of raised us as young women, to be a certain way, in ways that so my mom's straight hood, she she is a great person and a great woman, but she didn't really necessarily teach me certain things from being a Chester High cheerleader, and the way that went for me. Greek life kind of translated the same way, where sisterhood, sense of pride, in being a woman and being and a part of the Divine Nine, a black, collegiate woman. So giving back, actually having a place in society and serving society. It teaches humility too. I don't know. It's just a lot. Wow. Yeah, it really teaches humility. It teaches discretion in life, life is handed to you the way it is handed to you, and what are you going to bring to the table? How are you going to serve society and your people? And not formally, but even just everyday life. What are you doing?
Being the person that you are,
so
wow.
It's that's what did it for me, and it's they were being the only child too. My sisters are they're they are my family, so it's not like they are my family. You really build a different type of bond. And then in college, you meet different people from all over, and then becoming a part of the sisterhood, you meet like-minded women. And not that people who aren't a part of our sorority aren't like-minded, but it's, common goal. Where we grow up, not everybody can work towards a common goal, but being a part of a sisterhood, that if you're with like-minded women, you are working towards the common good,
for sure.
A goal that in your mind other people are working towards.
For sure.
In a product or outcome-seeking type of way,
For sure.
It's we are doing things in the community and with each other as well. I also always went to events with Miss Angie. So Miss Angie, I didn't mention Miss Angie, but Miss Angie is I call her my mom, call her Mama Angie, but she's a member of the Sigma Theta Chester Alumni Chapter. She was a big part of the reason I chose to become a Delta as well, as far as just how she was as a person. And I was I want to be this person. So my mom taught me at a young age, surround yourself around people you want to be like. So Miss Angie, she always was a mentor to me and like an aunt. So she would, you know, just really take me in and show me things, take me to museums and things that just, you know, like you said, where we're from, you just don't do. So it's like a different light, and her showing me that type of love and compassion. She didn't have to. I was a little girl. This is what she said. I was a little girl she saw that used to cheerlead and just smiling all the time. And just from cheerleading to her being a Delta, and you know, when with my path with Delta, she was a good big influence, you know, on me and everything. So I don't know, it kind of all like tied into one. But
for sure,
yeah,
for sure. And I was just telling you how like everybody, like everything is like put into strategic order, like before you even get here. Like Miss Michelle is what these women are to you. It's like same thing, cheering. You know, T is the only girl. She wanted, you know, T to have some good company. She liked my spirit. I was living here eventually. Like, she didn't have to take me in. She didn't have to embrace me. When my mom moved to Maryland, like, I could have missed out on the opportunity that I had because not having a place to stay and feel comfortable. Right. But I had this as a place to stay. So it's like, you know, life really does work itself out to put the people in front of you to make up for the things that you lack. External resources, whatever it is that you need, life will set it up for you to have those things when you're aligned with the purpose. You know what I mean? When you're aligned with the sense of like, this is what I want. I'm working hard towards getting it. You knew since a young age that you had these goals and aspirations, and hearing your story now that we're adults is like, wow, like it's even greater than I imagined, which is good. Like, to know that everything was set up for us to be where we are without even us really, you know, we come from the same hood everybody else come from. We really have the same resources that everybody else has. It's just about, what are we doing? What positions are we putting ourselves in? Who are we aligning ourselves with in order to execute those goals and dreams versus just talking about them, allowing them to fade with adulthood and falling into the cycle that we live in, living in the hood, coming from the hood. Like, anybody that's from the hood, from any hood, know what it's like to see how it happens. Like, you see from when your older cousins grow up, and then you see from when, like, you see the cycle, you watch it happen, and it's either you become a part of it or you break it. Like, and that's a bar, and I'm not like, that just came out, that was God, but I'm just saying, like, I have a theory, and I believe it actually is a real theory. I don't know, I haven't really done extensive research on it, but I know from experience that there's a thing called the middle child syndrome. You don't know because you're only you're not only child anymore. You have a little brother now, but you're you have, I'm sure, oldest child syndrome, which would be being your parents' first child. It's really different if you're a girl or a boy. I have middle child syndrome, being the first girl, and you have older child syndrome, being the first girl born. But do you believe, I guess, based on your experiences, that the first child, I guess, gets it the hardest? Tell me what you think about that. I guess. Do older kids get it the hardest, or like, is that just not?
I think we do.
I figured you would say that.
My mom go back and forth about this all day long. Like, every weekend I come home, we end up in an argument about something.
Yeah.
But we do, because she is just such a softie now, and it's like, and it could be because of the gap.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. You have a unique experience.
2 years apart. Yeah.
22?
Yeah, we're 22 years apart. He's only 2.
Yeah, that's a big.
Yeah,
that's
he'll
a big
be
gap.
3 in November, but
okay.
Yeah, so I was the only child growing up, and I just became a big sister.
Exactly.
I don't have experience on such.
Got you.
So it's like, but she's older now, and I'm like, you aren't as hard on him. And you should be, though, because he's a boy, you know, and the fact that he shouldn't get it softer.
Yeah.
And that's that.
She should turn the TV off on him the same way she turned the TV off on you.
No, for real. I'm like...
I'm serious. Yes, Mom. If you ever see this video, yes.
Yeah, like, yes, I don't know. I feel like sometimes she's just so much softer on him. Like, oh, Sean, he's just a boy, you know, so
first of all, I can't. Your mom is such a good mom. I can't even be mad at her. But, Mom, you have to be hard. First of all, he's a boy, so you definitely have to be harder, because black mothers judge me if you will, whoever's watching this, I'm sorry, forgive me in advance. Black mothers have the tendency to cradle their black sons and chastise their black daughters. And that's me saying it nicely.
The way I am. It's a very open, equal opportunity type person. So I can't see my little brother getting away with. No, I can't see this continuing. Like,
Gotcha.
as he gets older.
Gotcha.
But she coddles me as well.
Okay.
So, like, she's an enabler, right? She's an enabler in certain situations.
And the crazy thing is, like, moms, we're gonna give you, first of all, black moms, we're giving you psych forever. You can do not whatever, but you can do whatever, and you're still the bomb, and you still like the greatest creations. Like, black moms are just so strong, so you can't even, like, whether it's a mistake, whether they, you know, are enable or, you know, chastise, whatever it is, it's like, but you did it, you know what I'm saying? You did it, you held it down. So just to throw that out there, we love black moms, and y'all the bombs.
But sometimes I guess I overstep
Okay.
my boundaries as the big sister, and I give parenting advice, and my mom doesn't like my parenting.
Well, I just want to say this, and again, we love you guys, but take parenting advice from us, not because we're trying to tell you how to parent, but because we have a certain type of insight. Because I feel like we're 95, you're 95 or 94?
95.
95. Yes. 95 babies are the last organically born babies, I feel,
Okay.
of time. Because after 95, like, even my sister, she's 97, I think. Them babies got more advanced, like, more, like, everything just started to change. Like, everything just, like,
it did.
And it was like, it just happened right in front of us.
Yeah.
So it's like, we say this to say, black moms, take advice from us. That was what I was gonna say. Take advice from us, because we have insight that could be useful. Don't look at it as like us overstepping, because my mom is the same way. Like, anytime I try to say anything that's like, my mom, like, you could try it this way, it's like, I'm the mom. And it's like, I know you're the mom. I'm not trying to tell you how to mom, but I'm just saying, like, look at it like this. So I get it. I guess as a kid, if you can remember the first time you had like the old snaps, like I live in the hood type experience.
So I don't know, like I said, I was very mature when we were younger. So I kind of always knew. Like, I knew that we were in the hood, you know. I knew that we were a different demographic, you know. I understood that at a very young age. I realized that, I don't know, because it was kind of normalized, you know, for me, certain behaviors, certain situations like that. How you said that's when you realized, to me that was still normalized, you know, at a young age. We saw that stuff all the time. We experienced it sometimes ourselves, family members. That's just how we grew up. Like, I just thought a lot of it was normal. So I guess I didn't have like the actual moment that I realized things shouldn't, it's not okay, like it's not normal. When I got to college, my boss, I love her to death. She's like a mom, you know, like that mom or auntie or whatever. But her name is Jordan, and she is a white woman. So she's not different, you know, like she's not, I can be prejudiced. I'm a really prejudiced person in certain situations. Where I'm getting to is, she's a white woman at HBCU. So anytime she does something, she could be attacked, you know, in certain situations. Like, but what I'm getting at is, she is really hard on us about the word snitch, you know, so she doesn't like that word. So one time, the police, they had to come in, because that's my boss, it's my job. So we had to do a safety training, and they were like, so this is young-minded me, by the way, I probably was a freshman. She was like, you know, y'all need to be prepared for active shooter situations, or like stuff that goes down, and you know, stuff happens at DSU, people fight, whatever. In the gym where I work at, it can happen at any moment. So they asked us, if you see somebody fighting, and you know, you saw faces, you know, information basically, would you tell if somebody if they got like jumped by multiple people, you know, well, they said if multiple people beat one person up and you saw what happened, would you tell? So they're asking us, like, as employees, and like some people like were saying stuff. So people where we from, because Nautica worked there too. So we all like, y'all weird. So somebody yelled out snitch, and our boss went off. Like, she flipped out, like, basically don't say that word, you are not in that environment anymore where you have to be like that, that was where you're from, and that was in, basically saying in the hood, you're on a college campus now, so your mindset needs to be different, So that's when I realized that it wasn't normal to other people, like, what she was saying was, in certain environments you do have to think that way, and then in certain environments you don't. Now, still me, to me, who I am, not that I was like snitch or whatever, I just identified with the person that said the word. I know why he said it, because where we're from, that's what you will be called.
Absolutely.
But what her point was, you are not there anymore, so you do not behave like that here. Now, not that I agree with her, but it made me think in a total different, I don't know, it just shifted my mind. So, okay, if that's not normal, what else is not normal, If your outlook on that, if our outlook on that is normalized, at that point, minds had changed about the situation. I still have like a lot of reservations to like our public safety. So she would say things like, if somebody is, saying something to you, or you feel, you're feeling attacked, as an employee, you cannot respond in the way, because where we from, you're not gonna disrespect, at work or not. And since we work in a gym with other students, it's a possibility that somebody could get into something, right?
For sure.
So her answer to that was, you do not respond with that. You call public safety. So to us, that's like calling the cops, and it's like, I'm not calling the cops. Like,
yeah.
So like, if I feel like, I need to handle it, then I feel like I need to handle it. But the last thing I'm doing is calling the cops, even if I can handle it.
For sure.
I'm not. That's our mentality. Where we're from.
For sure.
The last thing we're doing is calling the cops.
For sure.
But she didn't. Her response was still the same. You're not where you're from. You're not back there. But she's really understanding about situations, so that's why I like her too. She understands that I'm not comfortable with calling, public safety or things of that nature. She understands I don't have a good outlook on police, so.
And it's really a blessing that, you have access to somebody like her, who's able to tell you, listen, look at it from this perspective, whether you agree or not. And it's respectable of you to receive that information and say, I mean, I'm still not calling the cops, but good point.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And we as Black people, and especially from our community, have the tendency to be very closed-minded and to box ourselves into these like stigmas that go along with what we're used to or what we've seen. That mentality of like assuming that because there's a different perspective, or because what has been normal or what has been seen as normal is not what you're seeing, that it's wrong, or that it's too different to be a reality. Had I listened to what was normal, my perspective wasn't able to be open to different ideas, whether I agreed or not, then I wouldn't be the person that I am today. So that's just a little snippet on like, you have to be conscious of the fact that something that you haven't seen is not bad, or something that you haven't experienced is not bad. If you haven't experienced it or gone through it, it's a new opportunity to learn something, and you should always be open to learn new information and not just stick with what you already know. Because if you're not learning, what are you doing? You're not growing. You just staying the same. And then what? The cycle's still staying the same. And then bills are still staying the same. And then life is still staying the same. And then you die. And then what are you leaving for future generations, for real? So, yeah, that's that on that. I always ask this question: what's your favorite thing about being from the hood? I have my answer. It's easy.
My favorite thing, I guess, I don't know that it's my favorite thing because we're from the hood, but it's where we're from, so it's not. I don't know. I guess it's our culture, being a cheerleader, and being involved that young in our community. I liked being a cheerleader, not because I was a cheerleader, but like I said, my coach just instilled like a lot in us, and she taught us so much. Like, we would have to memorize quotes, and she'd call out a word, we'd say a quote, and like I said, I realized at the young age that it was a positive influence, but now looking back on it, that a lot of young girls aren't doing that, you know, like that was something different. She had set us apart in a way, you know, that like during homecoming and you go to the games, it's still a vibe, you know, it's still family. You know, like my mom calls me when she see Miss Karen or she see Miss Jan, she'll text me. So it's like that. Like we're all connected, and our city is so small that it's so much great things though. That's what I think. Like I think that when I tell people I'm from Chester, they're like, "You from Chester?" Yeah, I'm from Chester.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Same way. Yeah, yes,
like,
absolutely.
and they be like, "Oh, that's Philly." Like, no,
It's Chester. It's right outside of Philly. It's close.
I was gonna say if you're speaking in geographically where, if you need to know where, okay, yes, it's near Philly. You're using a pinpoint, but it's not Philly. You know, we are Chester. So I think that that's my favorite part, the culture, like, and coming out. I don't know. I guess coming out despite everything, you know, despite so much that goes on here and. It is, you know, it needs improvement, you know, like any place, but the fact that we come out, you know, educated black men and young women, you know, who are stereotyped as not supposed to be anything, and we come out. So people from Chester just saw so many great things, like so many young. The class of 2014, they have so young entrepreneurs. Like a lot of them, are so many entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Like, and so it's good to be able to look back on that. I guess that's my favorite part. And like I said, I don't know if that's, you know, a hood thing, but the culture, you know, the culture,
It is.
Yeah, like,
it is.
Like the culture is just amazing. Like it's great. Sea Pride, you know, and then how we have what Chester makes Chester, you know, like
Best cool ever.
Yeah, like
that's real rap. That's real rap, because with zero resources, with, you know, we still prevail. Like we not given top quality education, but we are smart.
Right.
You know what I mean? We find a way.
That's what it is. It's the fact that I always used to beg my mom to go to a different school, but I'm glad she kept me in Chester schools. You know, not saying that obviously if I would have had the opportunity you had, I wouldn't have took it. But I'm saying I'm glad that when I begged her to go to the surrounding schools where it was, you know, a lot of predominantly white suburban areas, I'm glad she said no. Like, you know, like I'm glad she made me stay where I was at, because she told me it's not about where you go, it's about what you make out of it. You know what I'm saying? So your school, yeah, maybe you gotta get it a little harder, but that just taught me to do, basically, you had 100%, I had 50, and I still made it work. So I'm way more innovative than you in the fact that I can figure out how to make with 50, and you still trying to figure out how to make it with 100.
Facts.
You know, so
Facts.
It's like, I think our hustle and our drive and how we sometimes, it's like that little Instagram quote where it's like, oh, you're mature for your age. Yeah, thanks to childhood trauma, you know, and the fact that you can use that trauma and manipulate it to build you as a person. I don't think and not to compare or, you know, but, or even attack these suburban kids or upper middle class kids. I don't think that certain situations we had to go through, they would even survive.
Facts.
We are surviving. You know what I was talking about earlier as far as surviving versus living. You know, we are taught to survive in situations. Kids living, you know, in suburbs would never even think to have to go through.
Thanks.
While they're a jump head, they're years lights ahead, because, like you said, the conversations of economics, of investments that's early in their house. They can afford for it to be early in their house because they're not trying to figure out meal to meal, paycheck to paycheck. You know, they're not trying to figure out school uniforms. Absolutely. Those aren't things children are worrying about. Absolutely. You know, whereas at our age, you know, some people did have to worry about that. Thanks. Some people only ate when they got to school. You know, like some people only had meals at school, Thanks. School lunches. You know, that's nothing that certain kids in a different demographic will have to worry about. You know, and I'm not, obviously, you know, the statistics are there, but I'm not saying every child, but I'm saying or every person that lives in the suburbs, because everyone has their struggle.
For sure.
But there were never these type of situations that they, were worried about. Not at high rates anyway.
Absolutely.
So where we from, like you said, the hood, I think it's the culture and the struggle. I remember one of my teachers, Miss Tracino, she's our English teacher. She was one of my favorite teachers. But she had asked us a question one time in class, and it was about poverty. And I had said that we are poor. Like, this is an impoverished, place. But because in 7th grade, I was the only 7th grader that was, not the only, but at the time she had asked what we thought about. It was a response question anyway. And I said, yeah, well, we are poor, And certain people in my class was like, oh, we ain't poor, I ain't poor. But obviously we're not poor. People look at poor as, back then anyway, poor as, I'm not poor. But actually you are the demographic that they're speaking about in the news.
Exactly, yes. That says poor.
Poor, right. So we are poor, but at that level, they, we were in 7th grade. So it's like certain people didn't understand that. And I don't know, I guess. I don't know where I was going with it, but
the totality of the culture is basically what was the story.
Basically, and I was saying I like the culture.
That's a good. First of all, that's a very thorough, thought out answer, because obviously, to those who have heard me answer this question a million times, it's the food, the access to the hood food. Like, I'm sorry, eventually
I love the food.
Like the food. Come on, now the access to like J&S, Naz's, Just Pizza.
Yes, I come.
Shoel's.
I love the food, but I guess the culture is, that's a part of the food.
Of course, absolutely.
So it's but definitely
love
the food. Go to J&S, Shoel's every time I come home.
Man, what? What is it that you hope to accomplish before you die?
I would like to have a PhD. So that is actually. When I was younger, I had myself on a set schedule, like have this by the time this age and this, and I fell off track a little bit. So I was supposed to have my PhD in 2 years, but it's okay because it's not about that lifetime line that you set as a kid,
For sure.
So, but that's
that's dope. Thank you for coming in to
Thanks
talk.
for having
no
me.
problem.
And I can be long-winded.
So am I. So don't worry. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, all that. I'll put stuff at the bottom of the screen or however it works. I don't. Just honestly, this conversation, everything just comes full circle when it's supposed to come full circle, and you just have to stop looking at everything as it has to be. And that it will be. Whatever it is that you want, you can will it into existence. Shout out to my cousin Meek. I went to his concert last night, and he manifested everything. Like, I felt so motivated at the concert, because I'm like, this is the same guy that I saw on YouTube with those nappy braids, who was walking the same streets that I walk down now. And it's like, he's up. He's made it. He has a trust fund for his kid. He just posted a thing on Instagram, trust fund baby. Like, that's the goal, like, to establish generational wealth. And so I say that to say that anybody, any of us, guy, girl, if you want it, you can get it. And we really can be millionaires. It doesn't matter where you start. It's about how you finish. And although we start in these, I would say, impoverished communities, the hood is what cultivates greatness. Honestly, it's where everything originates, where the culture is built, in these communities where you find ways out of no ways. And that's what we're just gonna keep doing, and we're gonna keep spreading the messages of education and dedication and love, for real. So peace and blessings until next time.